Marshmallows flowering again. We've got this giant echinacea growing right here. This yarrow. This is the diamond yarrow. I can't remember what exactly it was called. I got it from Baker Creek. It's just starting to flower now. It's got a totally different shape than the other yarrows. So cool. Hello, Jixie. We've got this black-eyed Susan vine that took up residence here. We've got this. I thought this was the pickling cucumber. Come to find out, I think it's a pumpkin. I don't know what type of pumpkin this is because I can't remember where. I mean, obviously I thought it was a pickling cucumber. It is clearly not. It is a giant pumpkin, which is cool. Now we've got a green pumpkin in the yard. Look, Jixie. Look at the pumpkin, Jixie. Took up this whole section. Oh, looks like rain's coming. Big storm is coming. All the little things better hunker down. We have some patchouli here. Just when I thought I was not gonna get any this year, I find 2 patchouli plants. I've got all this corn growing right here, sweet corn. It's just as an experiment this year. All the beautiful zinnias are in bloom. Look at this cardinal vine, like growing out of control. It's just like trying to grab anything, but it looks beautiful. Look at that. And the hummingbirds love this flower. It's growing on that sunflower, which I'm letting that sunflower seeds develop, which is why I'm leaving it there. The morning glories have taken over that. They have taken over this whole thing. You can see I all these wisteria circles I made. I just put a bunch of the small ones together. I just used some sinew, some wax string. Everything is looking so full and gorgeous though. We're about to get another big storm, it seems like. Look how big this freaking plant has gotten. So this plant, I topped it like way down here when it was pretty small. And I didn't top this other one. And I should have. Like I was experimenting because I had never topped them before. And you can see this plant is just doing 10 times better than the one. Of course, that one's kind of shaded. Look how thick the stalks are though. I've had to put supplemental dirt on these, like down in here, because as the rain comes, it washes away the dirt down through the whole thing. I have to get better borders. Pineapple sage. But look, yeah, this whole thing has just become a whole like shaded area. I love it. It makes it feel so much more private, as opposed to when I was in here before all this grew. It was very open and like, you know. And we've got a clipping of that main plant, the one in the front, and I rooted it. I didn't have luck last year when I tried this, but this year I did have luck. Oh yeah, look at that storm. Ooh, yikes, I better get inside. But let me show you over here and see what I thought. I thought this was the honey butternut squash. Turns out this is the pickling cucumber. Here we go. We've got a little pickle. We got a little pickling cucumber right there. Okay, and then the honey butternut squash is over here. As you can see, we've got a couple there. And we've got a couple on this vine too. The flowers haven't even opened yet, but you can see there's a little teeny tiny squash right here. Right there. And over here we have another patchouli plant. The skull cap over here is doing really good. It's been flowering all summer. The purple flowers there. Ooh, storm coming in. Hope I don't get electrocuted. Though this vine here has taken over. This is a gourd. My other gourd died. It just didn't do good right there. Noted for next year. The roots, it wasn't buried deep enough. But the gourd up there has taken over that whole tree. If you can see in the top there, it's all the way up top. This is beautiful. The watermelon, look how big the watermelon is. I had to move it from over there because the ants found it. So I had to move it right here. Look at the elephant ears. And all the fennel has gotten huge. Jexie, you gotta go inside, baby. Oh, look at all the leaves falling. Oh, I love it. Oh, might not be a good idea to stand under that tree, though. Jexie! Where did she go? Uh-oh, trash can flew over. Come on, Dixie, go inside. Go. Oh, man. Her thing was about to blow over. Hope the bees get a good spot. Crepe myrtle's blooming for a second time, so that's nice. I went over there while I was getting the trash cans picked up. The neighbor's umbrella over her table, it was open because it's been nice past couple days, and it just blew over. And it was about to get blown away, so I ran over there and fixed it. But these big ass trees, especially this one up here in the power lines, is really kind of nerve-wracking. Watch out, Dixie. Man, them storms make it dark as poop in here. Let's open these curtains so we can watch the storm. I never open this curtain right here. Mark got me a TV. That was after a week of me not hanging out with him. He bought me a TV. He thinks that's what I want. Like, I appreciate it. Trust me, you guys, don't get me wrong. I appreciate things like this. But, like, when you have ill intent like that behind it, where it's like a manipulation, where you're doing it, like, just to... Like, he buys me stuff for making up for me, for not spending time with me. He does this stuff like this instead of spending time with me and going on dates and making me feel special. He just buys me stuff. And at first, you know, when it first started happening, when we were first together, I was totally blindsided by it. I took it, I ate it up. I thought, you know, I thought that's what I wanted. I thought, you know, oh, I want all this stuff and all these nice things. And it's like, yeah, I do. But I don't want the nice things that at the cost of my peace and the cost of a healthy, happy relationship. I don't want the trade-off. I would rather have the latter than have a bunch of nice things and not have anybody to share it with, and not have, I don't know. Anyway, I know a lot of you can empathize with that and empathize with me on that. I'm feeling that. I know a lot of you guys have shared with me that you have been in that same situation or currently are in that same situation. So yeah, I talk about these things because I don't want people who are in those situations to feel alone. And I myself don't want to feel alone in this situation, because, nobody should have to feel like that, to feel like they're the only ones going through something, and then be silent out of shame. Like, fuck that. Hell no. I'm all for speaking the honest truth, even if it hurts, because it helps people move around you and helps you move through life a lot easier when you're just honest. You're honest about things and you don't have an image to keep up. Like, fucking image. This is who I am. Like, I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not. I just want a healthy, happy, loving relationship, and I don't want a bunch of stuff in exchange. But yeah. So this morning I woke up and looked at my jasmine plant, you guys. I have never, ever seen this with this many blooms at once. Usually it's like one or two, but like, look. And there's so many more buds all over it. So, if you guys remember how this plant looked, for the longest time, like, I keep it inside during the winter because it's too cold here in the winter for it to survive. But outside I keep it in the summer. But when I bring it in the winter, it usually starts to look really sick. The leaves start to get like really dry and they drop off, and it's just not happy inside in the winter. And so by the time in the spring, when I bring it back out here, it's like a bunch of sticks and it looks really terrible. And so when I brought it back out here in the spring, I thought, you know what? I can't deal with this. And the plant looked really sick. So what I did is I cut all of the growth off. I just cut it all back. I didn't cut the main stem back all the way. I just cut it down to where there was no more leaves on it. And you guys, seriously, within a month, this thing burst with new growth. And now look at it. It is the most healthy and the most happy I've ever seen it. And it's so freaking beautiful. So beautiful. I've never seen it with this many blooms. Ever. Even the ones that aren't blooming, look. I mean, there's just flowers all over it. I'm gonna leave some for the hummingbird, because I know the hummingbird likes to eat off of this. I seen it visiting it the other day. Let me show you these other plants. This is the angel wing begonia. Look how big it's gotten. I've cut it several times and propagated it, and it's just massive. A massive freaking plant. The fiddly fig. Okay, I had it out here and it was not doing good. You could see, well, I had it probably in too much sun for the first half of the summer, and it like scorched all these leaves. It started looking really bad. I thought it was dead. So what I did is I topped it. I cut the top off, and it bloomed out 2 branches, and now it's doing a lot better. Well, 3 branches, because I cut another leaf off there. Yeah, it's doing really, really good. There was a big, huge windstorm while I showed you guys, and it blew a bunch of branches off out of this tree, out of this here maple. This maple needs a good prune, especially all these lower branches that are impeding on the houses and stuff. Oh, next time someone comes up here to cut, I'm gonna have to like advise them which ones to cut, because you could see people have like really tore up this tree trying to cut it. It does need a good prune, all these wonky branches coming off of it. But here we've got this Dracaena, this spike Dracaena. I decided to put this guy out here probably midsummer. or mid-spring, mid to late spring, because it was just not doing good in the house. And man, has it exploded. Look how big it's gotten. When I bought this Dracaena, it was probably just like what those regular small ones you see in the store. It was very small. Now it's very big. There we've got Sagey, little Sage. And the deer coming over to eat the freaking mulberry leaves right there. I need to move that mulberry tree. The shade garden is doing beautiful, but see, the only things that will survive here through the winter are the ajuga and the hostas. Everything else will die back. Like all of these beautiful impatiens will die back, and they won't come back because they're just annuals. But they were on clearance. I got them for $1. And look how big and beautiful they've gotten. Oh, these jasmine flowers are just so fragrant. Oh, they smell so freaking good. I hope this pumpkin gets another female flower on it. So far we've only got one. I don't know what kind of variety it is, so I do have to show you this tiny dahlia that is blooming. It's so beautiful. Okay. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? Oh my gosh, you guys, last night Mark and I were sitting in the house after we had come through the garden, and he is not only scared of bees, he's allergic to them. I don't know how much that is true, because he's just so deathly scared of them. But last night after we came inside, he was sitting on the couch, and I was putting the TV together, the new TV that I showed you guys he bought me. I was putting it together, and he stands up and starts freaking out. And I'm like, what? What's wrong? And he goes, there was a damn bee on me. And I thought he meant, like a small bee that will sting you. No. He found one of those big honkin' bees on him. Let's see if we can find one in the garden here. I just seen one. Oh, here he is, look. One of those big honkin' guys there. So this guy, it was one of those big guys, and it was crawling on his arm, and he freaked out, and yeah, I had to pick it back up and bring it back outside. Everything is just doing so good. So many peppers are blooming, or forming. Like, look at this guy. That is a nice pepper. But see, the onions I grew in the same bed were no good. All my onions, you guys, were like really thin-walled, and then when you cooked them, they became really, like, even more thin. So yeah, onions, I'm not going to grow onions anymore. But I would never know that unless I grew them, so. But yeah, I'm really grateful that the deer have stopped eating my tomatoes. They were, in the beginning of summer, eating every single tomato that was on my plants. And now they have started to, thank God, leave them alone. So I'm actually going to hopefully get some tomatoes. They've stopped coming into the garden so much. Look here, we've got this little carousel marigold. These carousel marigolds, guys, look how tall they get. I thought these were going to be like the other marigolds that I've got in my garden, that are rather short, but nope, those guys are huge. So we've got some dahlias coming up here, some zinnias. I don't know what this is, but it's coming up. It almost looks like a peony. Over here, I moved the thyme, and we got a couple daylilies. I've got to move that sage and also this sage, because you could see how the Carolina cypress is being really careful not to touch the other plants down here at the base. Look how much more it's grown. Look at all that new growth. Isn't that just amazing? Like at night, it looks like some big monster out here. Look at it. It has gotten so big. All that new growth. And of course, this tree is going to get like 25 feet tall and wide. So at its maximum height, it is going to be huge. Eventually, this cherry tree, this guy, and this blue point and juniper will all touch and fill this whole garden in. And I'll have to put a flower bed on the outside or the inside. I'm not sure yet. But look, my David Austin rose is blooming. Beautiful, beautiful rose. It's got another bud on it. Oh, look at these candy striped zinnias. These are so cool. So beautiful. Come on, Sagey. Let's go back this way. Come in. My catty. This is my catty. This is me and my catty. This is me and my little kitty. We've got some larkspurs still blooming. This nepeta is blooming again. Look at that vine. See if we've got any flowers in here forming. See how nice and shaded this has gotten? And my bud, starting to bud out, my weed. I missed the first moonflower, so hopefully we'll catch the second one. There is a bunch of flower buds forming all up on here. Of course, we've got these little tiny blue morning glories that are here. And look, they're already putting off seed pods. These things are terrible and notorious for seed pods. So I always try to go in and pull them when they're forming. See, these are all seed pods. Because they will take over. That's exactly how this vine got here in the first place. I put one little one on the edge of this greenhouse last year, and yeah, it took over. Dropped seeds, and now the seeds, I'm pulling them up everywhere, like literally everywhere. So, see, we've got a little hornet pollinating the little sunflower. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this look around my very full, very lush garden. And really quick, I wanted to show you how I ended up having to set this TV up, because this table was the only thing big enough to fit the TV. This is the table from the back room. So you can see here, I'm going to give that TV to Allison so she could put that in her room. Couch is good. We're going to leave it there for now. But I probably will be moving the living room around eventually. Pretty soon, probably. but we had to sit here last night. And yeah, the TV is just... So what happened to this TV? This is Marcus' old TV from a long time ago when he used to have a TV in his bedroom. He hasn't had a TV in his room in years. But what happened to it is during one of my BPD rages, because Mark was, the problem with Mark and I, the biggest problem is we trigger each other. Okay. So it's like a landmine when we start talking to each other. We both have huge triggers that send us into rage. And it also makes it hard it's like our true nature takes a back seat. And this, this survival instinct, this defense mechanism, it takes over. And it's so hard to have a conversation with somebody like that, where your triggers are setting each other off. And, but it takes literally minutes for both of us to end up in a screaming match, if we don't catch each other, and I've tried to talk to him about things, but anyway, so during that BPD rage, well, what happened to me is I would bring up something. This is what happens, okay? I bring up an issue or something that's bothering me or something that just doesn't sit right with me. I'm trying to draw a boundary or something, and he automatically gets defensive and blameful. That's what he does. That's his tactics. And then he also starts to get patronizing. He starts to patronize me, which literally sends me over the edge quicker than anything else. Patronize a bitch and I will literally throw something at you. That's how angry that makes me, because I have a deep wound from people patronizing me in the past, and having to take it, especially when I was in those treatment centers. Those fucking workers that were there, they would literally patronize you, and you could not do anything about it. They would constantly try to trip your triggers over and over, and you literally couldn't do anything, because if you reacted at all, you would get thrown down, put in a padded room, put in a carpet room. You'd get all your shit taken away. So you have, now as an adult, I do have a hard time standing up for myself when it comes to people patronizing me or anything like that, or getting defensive and blaming me. Those things set me off quicker than anything else. So in that rage, my past self, I'm gonna admit it, you guys, I used to be abusive. I used to hit people. I used to let my anger control me, and I would just fly off the handle, and I would start beating the shit out of people. And I don't like that. I hate that. That's who I used to be. But it's not who I am anymore. So, I've gotten a lot better. It's been over a few years since I've put my hands on anybody. I've gotten better at noticing when I'm getting to that point and I can remove myself from the situation. So that night, him and I were sitting here watching TV. Things got kicked off, and I took the remote and I slammed it down on the ground as hard as I could. And you can see my ground is tile or whatever, ceramic tile or something. And, it broke into a million pieces. So, this is like a Roku TV. So the remote, it had all of it, the Prime and Netflix, all on the home screen. Well, none of that would work anymore because the remote was dead. So I had to hook up an old DVD player to this TV for it to work, and it would never control the sound or nothing like that. So the TV was shot, basically. So that's why Mark got me another TV. That was a long explanation for something I could have said very easily. Y'all, I'm telling you, if you have energy problems, get you these. I take 2 of these a day, you guys, and I get so much done. So much done. Healthy immune support, system support, energy, and clarity. And I'll tell you, it freaking works. These are magic. Anyways, guys, I love you all so much, and I'll see you again soon.